Hello, myself Shati Kumar Kumbar. Today I'll be explaining about microwave oven simulation presented by Saujanya Kalal, Swati Kumbar, Sanjana. The contents of our projects are to know the basic concepts of C programming, what is microwave oven, requirements of the microwave oven, and how the microwave oven will act as the embedded system, the functions of the microcontroller and the microprocessor, and the functions of PIC CLCD, keypad, ISR, timer, and the project implementation of our project. Next is the C programming. C programming is used as a system software development, embedded software development, OS kernel development, firmware, middleware, driver development, file system development. And C is effectively used in a various specific domains and is pre-formatted language efficiency and portability that the user can easily changeable and can understand. Number system in a C programming. Number is generally represented as a decimal. Decimal has a base 10, octal has base 8, hexadecimal has base 16, and binary has a 2. Next is the data representation in a C. There are many ways to represent the data in a C. First one is bit, which has the size of 0 or 1 bit, table has a 4 bits, byte has a 8 bits, kilobyte has a 1024 bytes, megabyte has a size of 1024 kilobytes, gigabyte has a size of 1024 megabytes, terabyte has a size of 1024 gigabytes. Next, there are many keywords in a C which can be represented in a different way. Uh, Data types, modifier, qualifier, loops, decision, storage classes, derived classes, user defined, and others. Data types in that are char, integer, float, double. Modifiers are signed, unsigned, short, long. It can be modified their values. Qualifiers are the variables. Loops are for, while, do, which will use to perform the iterative operation. Jumps are go to, break, and continue. Decision keywords are if, else, switch, case, and default, which will use to check the conditions. Storage classes keywords are auto, register, static, and external. Derived keywords are struct and union. User defined keywords are enum and typedef. Other keywords are void, return, and size of. Next is the typical C code content. It means that the structure of a C programming, that is documentation, preprocessor statement, global declaration, main code, and the function body. In a documentation, we will write the header comment lines or the header file in a preprocessor directive which will tell us what are the variables and the standard input and output functions are used in the programming. And the global declaration, here we declare the global variables which will use in the entire program. In main code we write the local variables, program statements, and we can call the functions also. After the termination of the program, we can write the body of the function which has been called in the main program. Next, for example, my first C code is the file header or a documentation. Hash include stdio.h is the preprocessor directive. Stdio.h means standard input output functions. Int mean in a flower bracket, it is the main programming code where we print the hello world, and return 0 is the programming termination. Data types. There are mainly two data types in the C programming, that is modifiers and a qualifier. Modifier, in that size and the signedness types are there. Size means short and a long. The data types can be either short or long. Signedness means signed or unsigned. It means that the data with the positive or a negative sign. Qualifiers are the variables. Here we cannot change the value of the qualifier, that is constant and the volatile. Next. The data types category. There are mainly two types of the data type categories are integral and the real. In integral, the character and integer is present. In the character will hold only one byte of a data and integer will hold 2 bytes of a data. The real, float and double, it will depends on the precision values. Next, what is microwave oven? Here we start our project. Microwave oven is also called as an electronic oven. Appliances that cooks the food by means of a higher frequency electromagnetic wave called a microwave. Microwave. A microwave oven is relatively small box-like oven that raises the temperature of a food by subjecting it to a high frequency electromagnetic field. The microwaves are absorbed by water, fats, sugars, and certain other molecules whose consequent vibration produces the heat. There are different modes to control the washing machine or the microwave oven that are micro mode, grill mode, convection mode, and the start mode. The basic structure of the microwave oven is it looks like a box-like structure only. There are mainly seven parts in the basic structure of a microwave oven. First one is a cooking cavity where we can store our food to it will cook. Turntable, we can place our food in on that table. Door and the choke, power button, magnetron, waveguide, and the stirrer. The requirements of the microwave oven working is we have a knowledge on the basic embedded C programming, MPLAB IDE, XC8 compiler, PIC Simulink, PIC 16F18 77A microcontroller, 16X4 CLCD, tactile switch, keypad, and the timer. These are the requirements, and the next will represented by my other friends.
Hello everyone. I am Saujini Kalal, student of Electronic and Communication Engineering Department from Sambram Institute of Technology. I am here to present project on microwave oven stimulation which I have done an internship conducted by Emergy Information Private Limited. My team members are Swati Kumbar and Sanjana VK. Microwave oven. We are using matrix keypad for selecting the cooking modes which are given in microwave oven. 1 represents micro mode, 2 represents grill mode, 3 represents convection mode, and 4 represents the direct start of the oven without the selection of any mode. Micro mode. If you press the number 1, which represents the micro mode in the matrix keypad, then microwave oven should display the timer setting screen in the minute and second format. This screen asks the user to give the input to the timers. As we provide the input, the microwave oven will start to work in working cooking mode for initiated amount of time. 4 represents start, 5 represents pause, 6 represents stop. Grill mode. If you press number 2, which represents grill mode in the matrix keypad, the microwave oven should display the timer setting screen of minute and second format. This screen will ask the user to give the input for the timer. When the input is provided, the microwave oven will work in grill mode for initiated amount of time. Convection mode. If we press number 3, which represents the convection mode in the matrix keypad, the microwave oven will display the same screen which consists of minute and second format. This screen asks the user to give the input for the timer and the microwave oven will work in convection mode for initiated amount of time. Embedded system. Let us start with what is a system? An arrangement in which various units assemble and work together according to the plan or program is called a system. In a easier way, we can understand a whole body is a system. Various units are eyes, nose, ears, and brain. So now embedded system has three main constants. It is a combination of software and hardware. It is designed to perform a particular task. Task has to be completed in a given time. So the embedded system is a combination of any hardware and software which is intended to do a specific task. Hardware and software to do a specific task is called an embedded system. Block diagram. Block diagram consists of hardware unit, memory, which is used for storage of the data, CPU, central processing unit, actuators, and sensors. Sensor is used to take input in it. It is a transducer that converts energy from one form to another for any measurement or control purpose. For example, temperature sensor. Actuator. It is used for the output. It is a transducer that may be either mechanical or electrical, which converts signal to the corresponding physical action. Okay, some of the examples for embedded system. In consumer electronics like camera, webcam, household applications like washing machine, microwave oven, refrigerator. It is used in automatic industries where engine controls are required. Health, health care department like ECG machines, etc. As in the slides, we can see that over here is a microwave oven. This is a washing machine, smart TV, CCTV camera or webcam. Here is refrigerator, home appliances for system. This is smart car, robotics, avionics, medical applications, hard disk, routers, rovers, mobile, smart mobile, and missile systems. These are some examples for embedded system. So categories of embedded system. Embedded system are widely classified into two things, that is functional embedded system and performance. If we come to the performance embedded system, they are furtherly described into three types, that is small scale embedded system, medium scale embedded system, large scale embedded system. Small scale embedded system, it is a 8-bit or 16-bit microcontroller or microprocessor is used, which is a simple in applications. For example, is an electronic toy. Medium scale embedded system. In this, 16-bit or 32-bit microprocessor or microcontroller is used. It is slightly complex hardware and software requirement. Large scale embedded system. It is a 32-bit or 64-bit microprocessor or microcontroller which has a complex hardware and firmware. For example, is complex embedded system. Types of embedded system in functional category are, there are 4 types: standalone embedded system, real-time system, networked embedded system, and mobile system. Standalone system. It either takes digital or analog signal input from an input port and converts and processes the data, and the output resultant will be attached to the output devices. A standalone embedded system works by itself. It is a self-contained device which does not require any host system like a computer. There are 2 types, slave and master. Slave, these systems are not intelligent even though these are in embedded system. These systems cannot take action by their own. Example, semi-automatic washing machine. Master, these systems can take action by their own. For example, Google car, that is driverless car. Real-time system. These systems are time-bounded systems which will take action on a specific time. There are 3 types of real-time system: hard real-time, firm real-time, soft real-time. Example is airbag system. Networked embedded system. The network embedded systems are related to a network with network interference to access the resources. The connected network can be local area network LAN or a wide area network WAN or the internet. The connections can either be wired or wireless. Example is home security system. Mobile embedded system. The portable embedded devices like mobile, circular mobiles, digital cameras, MP3, digital personal assistants, etc. are example of mobile embedded system. They are basically limitation for their devices is a memory and other resources. The system which is movable are called as mobile system. Examples are robot. Structure of an embedded system. Embedded system consists mainly of a microcontroller or microprocessor or SOP, that is system on chip. It consists of sensors, actuators, ADC, DAC, and some human interference, diagnosis past port, FPGA memory. So let me explain each thing. Sensor. Sensor is used to take the input from where the input port is used, which will send some physical action taking place outside. It is given to ADC, that is analog to digital converter. Then the data is processed to the microprocessor or microcontroller, which will process the data and give the output resultant to a DAC, that is digital to analog converter. It is connected to the actuators, which were used to convert the action to physical output. This is the main structure of embedded system. Memory is used to store some data, and all the blocks are as follows. Memory. Memory are mainly classified into three types, that is RAM, hybrid, ROM. RAM is nothing but random access memory, ROM is read-only memory, and hybrid is a combination of both. RAM, it is read or write memory. It is a volatile in nature, that is it returns the content as there is different types of memory. They are classified as RAM, hybrid, and ROM. RAM, random access memory. Data in it, data at any memory location can be read or written. It is volatile memory. It returns the content as long as electricity is supplied. ROM, read-only memory. Data at any time in the memory allocation can be read. It is non-volatile in nature. The data contents are retained even after electricity is switched off, and availability of it is switched on. Data access of ROM is slow compared to RAM. Hybrid, it is combination of both RAM and ROM. It has certain features of RAM and some features of ROM. Like RAM, in hybrid data can be read and written. Data can be read as well as written. Like in ROM, the content in hybrid memory are non-volatile. Further, RAM is classified into DRAM and SRAM. D stands for dynamic RAM and S stands for static RAM. SRAM, static RAM, it retains the content as long as power is supplied to the chip. If the power is switched off, then contents will be lost forever. Dynamic RAM. DRAM has extremely short data lifetime, usually less than quarter of a second. ROM is further classified into masked, PROM, EPROM. Masked. These are the hardwired memory devices which is found on the system. It contains pre-programmed set of instruction and data, and it cannot be modified or rewritten in any ways. Advantages of ROM is it is low cost production. Second type is PROM, programmable ROM. This memory device comes in unprogrammed state. That is, time of purchase, it is an unprogrammed state and allows the user to write his own program or code into the ROM. EPROM, that is erasable programmable ROM. Same, it acts the same as PROM. It is programmable in same manner as PROM. It can be erased and reprogrammed, repeated as the name is suggested. Hybrid. Hybrid is further classified to EEPROM, flash, and NVRAM. EEPROM. It is actually electrical, erasable, and programmable ROM. It is same as that of EPROM, but erase operation can be performed, that is electrically. Any bit in EPROM can be erased and written as desired. Flash memory. Flash memory is most recent memory technology. Flash memory devices are highly density, low cost, and non-volatile, fast to read but not to write, and electrically reprogrammable. Flash is much popular than EEPROM, rapidly displacing many of the ROM devices. NVRAM, usually just as SRAM with a battery backup, is NVRAM. Whenever power is turned on, the NVRAM operates just like any other SRAM. But when power is off, NVRAM draws enough electric power from the battery, retain its content, more expensive than the RAM, SRAM. How to choose an embedded system? Embedded system should be low power consumption. It should be cost efficient. Processing power, it should be efficient. Efficiently usage of processing power. Efficient usage of memory and reliability. So the difference between a microcontroller and a microprocessor. In microcontroller, all the components will be in a single chip. As in microprocessor, all the components are assembled separately, which makes the system more flexible and more design complexity. Whereas in microcontroller, less flexible and less design complexity. As we can see the difference between microcontroller and microprocessor, these are nothing but microprocessor acts as a heart of a computer system, but microcontroller acts as the heart of an embedded system. It is a process in which memory and input output components is connected externally. Over microcontroller, the memory part, input output, and all the other components will be present internally. Since memory and input output devices are connected externally, therefore the circuit becomes complex, whereas in microcontroller, the circuit is less complex. It can be used for compact system, therefore microcontroller is more efficient. It cannot be used for compact system, therefore microprocessor inefficient. Microprocessor has fewer register, therefore most of the operations are memory based. Over here has more registers, therefore program is easier to write. It is mainly used in washing machines and air conditions, whereas microprocessors are used for in personal computers. So as we know the difference between microcontroller and microprocessor, here are the difference between microcontroller and microprocessor. So as we can see in microprocessor, there is a chip which is CPU, central processing unit. Silicon chip representing CPU, which is capable of performing arithmetic and logical operation. It is dependent units and it requires additional chips like timers, input output ports, memory devices, RAM, ROM, serial interfaces, and some programmable ports for its functionality. Where in microcontroller is highly integrated chip that contains a CPU, RAM, on-chip ROM, flash memory, special and general purpose registers, timers, input-output ports, and interrupt control unit. It is a self-contained unit and does not require additional functioning. Microprocessor input ports can be used by putting pins, built-in target for highly market, whereas performance is important, whereas in microcontroller targeted for embedded market itself.
Hello, my name is Sanjana and I'll be explaining the remaining part of this presentation. Now that we have a good understanding about C programming language and about embedded system, we can start doing our project. So before starting that, we require three softwares that has to be installed in our systems. One is a PICSIMLab. PICSIMLab is a real-time emulator for PIC and Arduino which can be installed either in Windows or Linux. MPLab XID is an integrated development environment for the development of embedded application on PIC microcontroller and it is developed by Microchip Technology. In simple words, it is used for coding purposes. Next is XE8 compiler, which is used to edit errors and breakpoint analysis and works with a 8-bit PIC microcontroller. So one advantage of using these three software is that they're available freely to us. Coming to the architecture of PICSIMLab. So PICSIMLab provides us with a mid-range PIC microcontroller which is 16F877A which has an operating frequency of 20 MHz. So it consists of an RS-232 connection that is a UART connection for serial communication purposes. It has 16 LEDs, it has one buzzer, it has a digital keypad, it has solid storage drives, and it has matrix keypad which is used to take and inputs. Then it has a character liquid crystal display which is used to display the data. Then we have analog to digital converter, we have a temperature sensor, we have EEPROM, and we have general purpose input output pins. Now this has 5 ports: port A, B, C, D, and E. And all of these ports are bidirectional. So this is how a PIC board looks in the PIC sim lab. So here we can see, we can observe there's a microcontroller at the bottom. We have a CLCD display on the top, and we have a fan on the right side. Then here we have a temperature sensor below the fan. Then we have a buzzer to the left side. And here we have 9 keys plus 3 keys, which is a star, 0, and hash to provide input. So this is the matrix keypad. We have 16 LEDs here, and then we have a 7-segment display. We have a potentiometer which will be connected to the CLCD, and then we have a heater. So these are the board components that are available. Now out of this, we make use of the microcontroller, LEDs, digital keypad, timer, buzzer, CLCD, fan in our project. So before getting to know how this project can be done, let us know what each component does. The first component is CLCD. CLCD is a character liquid crystal display which provides two types of display. That is, a PIC microcontroller provides two types of display. One is 16 cross 4 and the other one is 16 cross 2 display. In 16 cross 4 display, we have 16 columns and 4 rows. That is, 16 characters can accommodate in a single line. Coming to 16 cross 2 display, we have 16 columns and 2 rows, and each row can accommodate 16 characters. That is, each line can accommodate 16 characteristics. It is used to display the ASCII characteristics and some special characters. So this is one of the most commonly used display. Now this has a built-in controller which either accepts data or executes instruction. That is, if this control line or control signal is 0, then it executes instruction. If it is 1, then it displays the data. Now, the CLCD has 16 lines, out of which 8 lines are reserved as data lines. Now, if all the 8 lines are used for as data lines, then that type of communication mode is known as a 8-bit mode. But out of this 8 data lines that is provided, that is D0 to D7, if only 4 data lines are used, then it is 4-bit communication mode. So this is all about character liquid crystal display. So the next type of component is tactile switch. So tactile switches are those switches who operate when we touch it, like its operation is perceptible by touch. This switch is used to select the mode of operation, to give input, that is to either input the temperature we require or enter the time in our project. This switch produces a bouncing effect when the switch is pressed. Now what is bouncing effect is? So a tactile switch has a metal plate and terminal. So when we press this tactile switch, it generates small pulses first, and then we get a constant signal. This is known as bouncing effect. And now bounce time usually varies from 20 to 50 milliseconds. Next off, we have a pull-up and pull-down resistor circuit. So this is the inner working of a tactile switch. So if it is a pull-up resistor, as we can see, if the switch is closed, if the switch is closed, then microcontroller is given a low signal as the switch is connected to the ground. If the switch is open, then a high signal, that is 5-volt signal, is given to the microcontroller. Coming to pull down interface, here we have a switch. If switch is connected to 5 volt, if the switch is closed, then a high signal is given to the microcontroller. If the switch is open, then a low signal is given to the microcontroller. Now, tactile switches are used in matrix keypad. Now, in this keypad, we need to configure rows as outputs and columns as inputs. So whenever we are designing pull down interface, R1 should be greater than R2. That is, R1 should be 10 times greater than R2. So there are two types of trigger method. We have edge trigger and we have level trigger. The next important component we have is a timer. Timer is a default peripheral in all microcontrollers. Timer main operation is to calculate the time, which is very helpful in maintaining the timing of the operation in sync with the system clock or an external clock. So it is used to measure time or generate delays. Timer or counter is like a software designed to count the time intervals between the events. So we have three terms which is used to define its features. One is a resolution. Resolution is a register width which tells us whatever time is calculated, it will be stored in the register. Now this width is known as a register width. Register width can be an 8-bit or a 16-bit. 8-bit will store 2 to the power of 8, that is 255 ticks, whereas a 16-bit will store 2 to the power of 16 ticks. Now, what is a tick? So, a tick occurs when it changes from 1 to 2, 2 to 3. So, this is tick. There will be an increment of 1. Now, period tick depends upon the quantum. Now, quantum is a measure of time responsible for a tick and purely depends on system clock system. Now, in PIC, we have three timers, timer 0, timer 1, and timer 2. Now, we make use of scaling. Now, scaling is a method which is used to delay the process of going into ISR, which is interrupt service routine. We have two types, one is pre-scaling and post-scaling. We have three modes in timers, one is counter, pulse generator, and PP measurement. Now, the timer is set with keypad. We make use of star to clear and hash to enter. Now, we can also use it to toggle the LED. That is why we make use of 8-bit resolution. So now we have come to the end of our project, which is the demo. So let us open the Pixel Lab software. So this is the power of, let me power off it first before the demo. So here is the simulator that we talked about earlier, and we can recognize the components. So here we have a CLCD display, here we have a fan, here we have a LM35, which is a temperature sensor, and then here we have a buzzer. Here we have the matrix keypad using the concept of tactile switches. Then here we have 16 LEDs. Here we have the main hero of this PIC Sim Lab, that is PIC microcontroller 16F877E. Here we have the five ports that we discussed earlier. Here we have a reset button, and here is the power on and power off button. So let me load the hex file. So after the hex file is loaded, let us power it on. So as soon as we power it on, we can see a display telling us the microwave oven is powering on. And after that, a display is popped where we have four modes listed. One is a micro mode, one is the grill mode, other one is a convection mode, and other one is a start mode. All these modes were discussed earlier in the presentation. So now let us see what happens in real. So let's say that I want my oven in micro mode. So I press the key 1. After I press the key 1, we have a display telling the power consumed by the oven, which is 900 watt. Now a display occurs which is asking for our time. Now we can see that the second section is blinking. So after we input the number of seconds we need, or like number of seconds we need, and we try to input the minute section, it starts blinking. So let me say I entered a random number which is 42 minutes and 15 seconds. Now I want to clear the minute section. So I make use of star, which clears the minute section. If I want to clear the second section, I can press it again, and we can see that both sections are clear. Now I want to enter, let me enter 20 second. So I want the microwave oven to work in micro mode for 20 seconds. So let me press the hash button. So as soon as I press the enter button, we can see that the time starts decrementing. The fan starts rotating, indicating that the microwave oven has started. Now we have three options provided here. One is a start, pause, and stop. So now when we try to press the pause, that is 5, we can see that the time has stopped decrementing and the fan is stopped. So we are pausing this operation for a minute. Now if we want to restart this process again, we press the button key 4. Now there is another option called stop. Now in case I press 6, then my entire operation will be stopped. So let me say I press the key 4. So as soon as the timing reaches 0, we can hear a buzzer sound and a display telling that the work is done and the time is up. So that is displayed for about 2 seconds and then we return back to the main display which specifies all the types of mode provided by this oven. Let us see how the stop works in the grill mode. So the next mode we have is a grill mode. Now grill mode is similar to micro mode, but the one difference is that they are used for different purposes. Let me say I press key number 2. As soon as I press key number 2, it is asking me for the time. So let me say give 15 seconds and 24 minutes and I press enter. Now I don't want my micro oven to work for 42 minutes. So what I need to do is I need to stop the process. So I press the key 6. So once I press the key 6, you can see that the fan stops rotating and our display is changed to the uh, first display indicating the types of mode that we have. So this is how the stop works. So if you want to see the grill mode even more, let me set the time for 5 seconds. So this works in similar way as the micro mode. So after the 5 seconds is done, we can hear the buzzer sound. See, if we off the here, we can't hear the buzzer sound. So this is like a switch on and switch off button for the buzzer. So this is all about grill mode. Next off, we have a convection mode. Now, convection mode is a little different from micro to grill mode. What happens in convection mode is the oven is preheated for a few seconds and then the operation starts. Let us see what happens. I press the key 3 and then it is asking field for the temperature at which it has to be preheated. I'll give it as 125. So and then I press enter. So usually it is preheated for 180 seconds. Since it's a demo mode, I've just set it to 10 seconds. So after 10 seconds, the display changes to time display where it is asking for time. So again, I give 10 seconds. So from here on, it works in similar way to micro and grill mode. We have a pause button, so which stops its working. And then we have a resume button, which will continue. And then again, we have a stop button, which is used to stop the entire process. After 10 seconds, we hear a buzzer sound and we also get a display telling the cooking is done. So this was all about the convection mode. So next off, we have a start mode. Start mode is a kind of different and interesting. So when we press the key 4, we can see that there is no time display asking for us to input the time, but rather we have already preset it to 30 seconds. Now let's say I don't want my oven to work in start mode for 30 seconds, but I want it to work for 1 minute. So what I do is I press the key 4 again. So when I press the key 4 again, we can see that the time is incrementing. So let us say we want to pause it now. I press pause 5. Now we know here the start button is used to increment the time to 30 seconds. But now if I want to resume and if I press 4, will the time be incremented or will it start its processes from 1 minute and 36 seconds? So we have designed it in such a way that it will not increment it, but it will rather start the process from 1 minute 36 seconds. So I press the key 4 and we can see that there is no incrementation in the time, but it starts decrementing from 1 minute 36 seconds. Now let's say I want to stop this process and I press the key 6. So this was how all the modes work in the microwave oven. So one thing we have to discuss here is, so in a real microwave oven, we have a door. So whenever a drone is open, when it is not operating or whenever the microwave oven is not on, then it is fine. But whenever the operation or whenever cooking is taking place and we try to open the door, we can hear a buzzer sound indicating the user that he has to close the door so that the process can be continued. So to show that in our simulator, we have made use of RB3 key, which indicates if RB3 key is not pressed, then the door is closed. If RB3 is open, then it indicates that the microwave oven is open. Let us see when the microwave oven is operating. Let us press start itself. Start mode. Sorry, see if I see I had already pressed the RB3 button open. So as soon as I enter the start mode, I could hear the buzzing sound. So when I close the door, I can see that it's working fine where operation continues. So if I press RB3 button, we can see that the door is open and it is telling the user to close the door. So this is all about the door button. Now if I want to reset this process, I have a reset button here. which we usually have in microcontrollers when we have a real microcontroller we're working on. So since this is a simulator, we have all the options provided to us. So this was all about our microwave oven project. So to summarize it, we have four modes: micro, grill, convection, start. So micro and grill work in a similar manner but for different purposes. Then we have convection mode where the oven is preheated for a few seconds before it starts its operation. And then we have a start mode which is already preset for the oven to work in 30 seconds. In case we wanted to make more, then we have a key given to it. So this was all about the simulator that we have used. And for coding purposes, as I told earlier, we made use of MPLAB XID, which is provided by Microchip. So here we can see we have different header files provided for CLCD, main, matrix, and timer. Then we have a source file where our code is present. Now the one thing I didn't mention here is here the CLCD, as I told earlier, we have two modes. One is a 4-bit mode and another one is a 8-bit mode. Here we make use of 4-bit mode, that is pins D0 to D0, D4 are used. That is because here the matrix keypad also makes use of port D and the CLCD also makes use of port D. That is why we give 4 pins to the CLCD and 4 pins to the tactile switch. So yeah, so this is about the MPLAB. So we have reached the complete end of a project. So this is how a microwave oven looks in real, where we have other components like an antenna, cooling air output, that is a fan, and then we have a mesh to prevent the leakage. Then we have a door latch to close and open the door. Then we have a transformer, we have a capacitor, we have an air blower. But in the project we have done, we have shown how it usually works and not the inner parts of a microwave oven. So we would like to thank Rajni ma'am for guiding us throughout this project, for helping us to know all the basics. And also we would like to thank Emergency for providing us this opportunity, which helped us to learn a lot and also have an exposure of industry domains. Thank you.